All right, so I'm here with Kenondra Davis at a Fort Worth Trimble Tech. How are you doing during this downtime of COVID-19?
Well, I can say when it first started, it was pretty rocky, but now I'm doing well.
Have you gotten into a routine? I mean, it's been a couple months since the last track meet.
Yes, I have. I still continue practicing when it first came about, and now I practice 4 times, 5 times out of the week now, and I do plan to run Saturday
Where at?
Gateway.
Okay, so you did make it into the Gateway because I know they accepted about 500 athletes. So
Mm-hmm.
as of right now, the Gateway meet is still going on.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. All right, let's backtrack a little bit. You're a freshman. You win the 100, the 200 at UIL state meet. I believe your male colleague also won the 100, 200 that year.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like as a freshman bursting onto the scene in UIL Texas track?
Okay, so I can say this. So I was new to track, period, at the time. I didn't know about a state meet or anything like that. So when I started going to school, they was telling me about it, and I was like, why is this such a big thing? At first I did not understand, like, what they were until, like, I actually got there because I didn't know what it was. So I got there, and I won. I had won the 100 first, and I was like, dang, I just won, like, a state meet. So I was thinking, I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and run the 200, and I'm going to win. I was telling myself, I'm going to win. It felt really great. I was still pretty shook about it all. It didn't really sink into like really last minute, but I did enjoy my freshman year.
Well, you said you were fairly new to it. Were you new to track as well? Were you playing other
Yeah, I was
sports
new to
prior?
track. I had started that 8th grade year.
What sports were you playing prior to track?
Well, I had played basketball 7th grade and 8th grade, and I
Huh?
stopped when I really got into track.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so now your freshman year, 100, 200. Your sophomore year, second in the 100, fourth in the 200. Still running great times. In fact, in case you didn't know, your 11:36 100, which was FAT and win legal, is
Mhm.
fifth all time for
Mhm.
girls in the state of Texas. How does it feel to be in that kind of elite company?
Well, it feels great because when I can say when I really got into track, this is like something that I really want to pursue. In I really do like the sport. I love the sport. I don't just like it. I love the sport. So it feels. I still be a little surprised sometimes because where I came from. So I still, it still sometimes be like, dang, like, am I really that girl? Like sometimes it still, shakes me sometimes. But yeah.
Now that was an 11:36, and I think your 200 PR is a 23:38.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming we have a track season, and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
be optimistic, can you reduce those times?
I really hope so. I feel like if I can get on a good track, I could. I feel like I could. I really feel like I can probably PR. I know there's not gonna be many meets, where I'm able to, get a race in, because this is gonna be like my second, my second 100, second 100 of the season, and my first Open 2, and I'm gonna run the 4x1.
of
So
the
I didn't really
entire
get to compete.
of the entire track season?
Yep.
So prior to spring break, you and your coaches obviously had a plan to hold you back a little bit so you're not overtrained?
Yeah, like I was I started off well, I had a little accident happen, so I had to take off a little bit. And after that it was like I got into a mixed relay at this meet. I went to a relay meet, and then I went to jet relays. I ran 100. And after that, I think that's when everything got canceled.
What was the accident, if you don't mind?
Okay, so I was trying to do a pull up with this elastic band, and I was standing on it with my feet, and I wasn't standing on it correctly, and they were telling me I wasn't standing on it correctly, and it popped me in my eye. Yeah. So I have this thing called a cornea break in my left eye. Now it's not bad, of course, but at the beginning it did. It's not it wasn't a pleasant injury. I can just say that. But
Does it
I
still
have
affect you?
no, not anymore.
Oh, wow. That just
Yeah.
sounds painful.
Yeah. At first it was painful. People would ask me like, "Do your eye?" It didn't just all the time hurt, but when it first happened, yes, it did. It was a lesson learned. Just don't go into jumping into things that I don't know about. It wasn't something I had to do. So.
You mentioned that prior to track, 7th and 8th grade, and then 8th grade heading into track, you actually played basketball. Who was it that realized that you had track speed?
Okay, so I think at one of my earlier meets, it was, track teams coming up to me. So the track club express came up to me and they were like, that you're really good or whatever, and we'd like you to come join our team. And they told me that they was going to go to clubs that year. So I was like, okay. So at first it didn't still click to me that, okay, because it took me a minute to actually go out there at first. It took me a minute. So I was like, okay, I'm just going ahead and go out here. And, I was 13, 14. I think that was my last year, 13, 14. And I did enjoy it too. So that's another reason why I continue to go.
Do you play basketball anymore?
I wasn't that. If I would have stayed in basketball, right now, I would have been good. But I decided to no. I wanted to just focus on track. Because people were telling me, like, you're going to be great. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just do it. Let's see. Because I didn't really know at first. I'm just listening to what people say.
So setting a PR is more exciting than that game-winning bucket?
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
I'd rather do it myself.
All right. So Mile Split, not just Texas Mile Split, but Mile Split, the national brand, has you ranked right now as the #1 girls sprint recruit for 2021. I'm sure you saw that on their website. Is that humbling to have that kind of notoriety?
Very humbling, because I felt like, I did a lot of stuff, I ran 11:36. I didn't win the race, but, still a good race. And then I came back after that, I think a week or two after that, and I won Prefontaine. So I was like, dang. I was doing this stuff in the summer and people really didn't notice me for it. So when that happened, I was like, oh, thank God, a little bit, people put me out there a little bit.
Because the 11:36, correct me if I'm wrong, that came at Brooks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now this summer, obviously, no AAU, USATF, Brooks or TAF or any postseason. Has the time off, has that helped you mentally and physically? And is it a blessing in disguise?
Mentally, it has. It's gotten me way more focused, thinking about stuff like, and it also has brought, okay, I'm trying to have fun too. Because I know that this is going to be my last year in, high school. So I was like, okay, at first I would give myself a hard time at times. Like, I'm not like a sore loser or anything. Like, I can take a loss. But mentally, like, I was like, okay, I need to also be having fun with it too before it really gets serious. So it got to the point, it's at the point where, like, I'm really just enjoying this last bit.
How are you enjoying this?
Practice, and I guess you can say good thoughts.
Fair enough. Now, the NCAA has extended the dead period to the end of August. So have you been able to take any college visits at all?
No. I was going to start taking, like some unofficial visits, but then that happened. So that really sucks. But I just hope that, I do get to take visits this year, because I do like a lot of the schools recruiting me. And I'm like, I got to take a visit because I don't know, truly where I want to go yet. So right. I hope that it does open up and I'm able to take a visit to the schools.
And it would go without saying that there's any number of schools that are recruiting you. Are you at liberty to give us an idea of 2 or 3 that are off the top of your head that you're considering? Sorry for putting you on the spot.
Do that.
You don't want to do that yet?
Mm-mm.
All right, that's fair. So what are your goals for 2021?
Well, you sprinting wise goals?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I want to run 22 before I leave,
Okay.
and I want to get down to 11-1, 11-1-ish.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I hope that is everything because, I'm going to try to compete for the Olympics and stuff like that too.
Okay, so the Olympics are in the back of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. You would follow in the long line of wonderful Texas sprinters that have paved that way for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any track and field athletes who you really admire in the sprinting world?
Oh, yes. Let me get her name out. Shelly and Fraser Price.
Okay. What is it
Yeah.
about her that you admire?
Okay. So when I first got to see her in person, that's when I went to the Prefontaine. But,
Right.
I was just, always looking at stuff or whatever. And how she really strives and how she has a child and she do what she got to do. Like, I don't know. I just love her race and I don't know. Something about her.
Fair enough. So
Mm-hmm.
take us into a race, whether it's the 100 or the 200. What are you like prior to getting into the blocks and headed across the finish line? First off, do you have any rituals? Do you have to listen to a certain song? Do you have to wear a certain, pair of socks or anything?
Well, I have to listen to a certain playlist before
Okay.
to get me hyped. And, I try to like dance a little bit to get the nervousness out.
Okay.
So going into the blocks, I do a jump because I try to shake some of the nerves off. I do
Uh-huh.
a high jump, and I get in, and I'm trying to think about the little stuff the coach says, because it really just takes me to think about what coach said. I can't just go in and run a race. I'm gonna tell you that now because something won't come out correctly.
Okay.
So I go in. Okay, coach said, get your chest up, drive, push. So I think about it before the race go. And I'm, listening to the gun. I hear the gun, I go. So I'm in my race. I'm trying to focus on my race. So I know that at a certain point, I'm going to hit a second gear. Sometimes I can just tell myself to do it, and it'll happen like that. When I went to Prefontaine, I was like, I can win this race. So I just took off. Like sometimes it could be like that, or it just naturally comes. Sometimes I'm not in my head at all, and it just literally happens. But sometimes I can literally be like, girl, come on, stop playing. And it happened.
When you're sprinting, do you even hear anything else other than your own self?
Mm-mm. I don't hear nothing. So people like, did you hear me? I did not hear you. I was running a race.
All right, so let's go back to that 11:36. You say you listen to your coach and you have certain cues, whether it's to push or keep the chest up. What is it going to take you? So critique yourself. What's it going to take you to break 11:36?
Well, as people say, that's like a perfect race. Like you have to have everything correctly. I feel like it's in my start to get the perfect race. If I push out the blocks correctly, I get the correct drive phase, and then by the time I'm up, I should already be in the front. So I feel like that's what it's gonna take, and that's something I've really been focusing on at this time.
Okay, and obviously then we'll need you in a good race where you're pushed, because
Yeah,
more than likely
competition, yes. Because if I don't have competition, I won't run.
I was gonna say in most of your races, you might have the ability to pull up 8 to 10 meters.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
hopefully that won't happen. What's your comfort food?
My comfort food.
Yeah. Healthy or not, what's your comfort food?
Not healthy, but chicken strips. I won't eat it before a race or anything. I'll have like chicken
That's
off
good.
right off, but it's something chicken.
All right. As we know, the season has been disrupted with COVID. Now our summer is. What have you learned about yourself through all this COVID-19?
What I've learned by myself. I guess I can say, I guess it can be mental. Like, I don't know. I just have been giving myself, like, I just been so relaxed, I guess you can say. Like I took a lot of pressure off myself. Like before all of this happened, I had a lot of pressure on myself. I was nervous about the accident I had. I didn't know, like, would it be enough before, I just had a lot of pressure. I put a lot of pressure on myself, and sometimes it's unnecessary.
Right.
So, just paying attention to detail and, as my coach say, focus on the things that I can, focusing on the things that I can, have control over.
And that's really good advice, because especially for someone like you, and you see it a lot with athletes who burst onto the scene their freshman year in high school, and all of a sudden those expectations from everyone outside of your own self, start to become a burden and give you added pressure. So I'm glad you're able to say that now you're looking forward to relaxing, having fun, and getting rid of some of that pressure. How is summer training going?
Well, everybody has their days. It's still days I go to practice and coach is like, come on, get right or whatever. But it's going well. It's going really well. That's why I feel so good right now. I really feel like I should do really well this weekend. I really do. I'm just going to have fun. I'm not trying to go out there. I'm trying to PR out there. No, that's not something I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have fun. So
yeah, just to make sure that we're still in shape and we're still good at it. Exactly. Well, young lady, I certainly appreciate your giving us 15 minutes of your time today. Best of luck this 2021 season. I know we're all going to be watching where that decision comes down, whether it's an early signing or a late signing. But best of luck, and we hope you PR and get to your 22 and 11-1 goals.
Thank you.
You have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks.